Welcome to Chasing Dreams podcast with Aimee J. Aimee believes that realizing a life without regrets is achieved by taking chances, chasing your dreams, making moves, and overcoming your doubts. The Chasing Dreams podcast will help you overcome life's obstacles, believe in your potential, and inspire you to face your fears. And now here's the woman who is passionately pursuing her dreams, Aimee J.
Hey, Dream Chasers. This is Aimee J, and thank you so much for tuning in to episode 153 of Chasing Dreams. Guys, we are in August. It is August 2018. August 8th, 2018. 8 months into 2018. About 4 months from the end of the year. And I gotta ask, how is your dream chase coming? How is mine coming, you might say? Well, I'm glad you asked. So this month of August, I am putting a significant focus on my own dream chase. Some of you may know I signed up for Nicole Walters' course, 1K One Day, and I am using this month of August to kind of focus on the homework in that and preparing for what I need to do and hopefully prepare for better resources and products for you guys, to help you in your dream chase. And so it all kind of ties together, right? Because for me, it's important to help others. And one way to do that in particular for me is to encourage, or as I say, inspire, empower, and equip you to chase your dreams. And so I'm working this month to figure out how I can do a better job of that, so to speak. And so as a result, like, why is she telling me all this? Okay, she's still online. There are no guest interviews for the rest of this month. I may come back early on August 29th, may not, haven't decided. But for now, there are no guest interviews for the next 4 episodes, including this one. And that is because I don't want to do a disservice to my guests, and I don't want to do a disservice to you, the listener, by not being fully focused in preparing for those episodes or finding guests who are quality to be able to do that. And so I've rearranged schedules. Long story short, guest interviews will resume in September. Okay. Well, so then why are we having this podcast? Well, because I still think I want to podcast. I don't want to lose my kind of drive to do what I'm doing as I'm working to kind of prepare these things. And so, it's a new year. It's been working on some things, tried some things worked, some things didn't. It's all in a journey, right? And so one of the things I started doing was writing. Actually, I write letters to myself. If you haven't seen it, it's on the website, aimej21.com. And it's under writings. We brought back Film Fridays that my cousin Aimee A was doing. So you can find those there. But also my letters to myself are there. And so I talk about a few things. And some of that I'm not sure you guys have seen. And so one of the things I want to talk about was my first letter. And that was, Dear Me, Myself, and I, you are important. And it's interesting because I over the summer, I've talked to so many people, and a lot of them are chasing their dreams, which is awesome to see. And some of them still haven't quite understood or grasped the fact that they can. And it's almost as if they don't think they should or that they're allowed to. And it's a little bit sad to hear that, but at the same time, they don't necessarily understand. So I want to kind of emphasize, why you are important, why your story is important. This world is made up of billions and billions of people from number of continents, a number of directions. We are all over the place, and no two people are the same. I can say that because I am a twin, and myself and Aimee J are not alike. We're very similar, but we are not identical, which is confusing because we are technically identical twins biologically, but we are not the same. Like 2 snowflakes are not the same. 2 people are not the same. Doesn't matter what you try to do. It doesn't line up. So using myself as an example, because again, I can. Jamie and I are 15 minutes apart. They didn't know I was coming. So my parents thought, hey, we're going to have one child, and, life is going to be great. Then my mom went to have a baby. Out comes Jamie. They're like, hey, she's kind of light. What's going on? And all this time, I believe my dad is parking the car. And so they look again and they're like, oh, hey, there's another one in there. We should get her out. 15 minutes, guys. 15 minutes. This is in 1980. So there weren't really sonograms and stuff. So my parents didn't know I was there. They just thought, hey, big baby. And so here I come. My parents' lives are even better than they thought it would be. Yeah, that's right. I said it. And so, I get a different name. They had Jamie picked out. My dad was asked, hey, what are we naming her? And he says he saw it in a magazine and thought it was beautiful. And the French word is Aimee for love. And so said Aimee. I personally think he just kind of was going through the alphabet and said, what rhymes with Jamie? Aimee. Okay. But there's some credence to his story, given the fact that you spell my name Aimee. So we'll give it to him. That's fine. But, there began the differences, right? Different names. We weighed differently. We had different birth dates to down to the second. She's 15 minutes older, right? And in growing up, look the same, and we actually had similar interests, but different experiences. I was a tomboy. She wasn't. I was into G.I. Joes. She was into Barbies. There were these differences as we were growing up. So I saw things slightly different than she did. I saw G.I. Joe as being awesome and Centurions. Anybody remember that? And she saw My Little Pony and She-Ra. And, I guess back then Sailor Moon wasn't a thing, but She-Ra was. And she liked that. And so, we were different. We had different interests. Now, growing up in school, we were in the same class in elementary school. We were pretty much in the same, I think, throughout high school. We were pretty much in the same classes. It was only in law school that we were actually separated, but we were different, right? Growing up, I was more into the tech stuff and she was more into reading. We had vastly different things. Mind you, we still liked similar ththings, right? We had the same interest in movies. We both thought Three Ninjas was awesome. Home Alone, classic. All these things that were important, we agreed upon. But there were certain subtle differences that we still find. Even to today, we have subtle differences in the way we see things and the way we do things. I am more of a baseball person. She is more of a football person. Orioles, she's Ravens. That being said, she loves the Orioles. I love the Ravens. But, if you asked who loves which more, it's baseball for me, football for her. And so because of those differences, because of the interests that we have, we see things differently. She did biology in college. I did computer science. Those who know me will joke that I tried every other major, but in actuality, computers and technology was my go-to. And that was for her. I did the patent law. She didn't, even though that's why she was going to go to law school. What happened there, Jay? What happened there? She's doing diversity work right now. I'm doing contract management. So we have different perspectives in our life. So our stories are different. Our personalities are different. We are different regardless of the fact that we are identical twins. Okay. And so we are shaped by our race, gender, religion, sexual orientation. All of those things shape a person, right? They tell me how I see things. The fact that I am Indian, South Indian, is an identifier for me. And it's an identifier for her, right? We are the same in those categories, but it's our life experience. Like I said, the life experience of college, of our TV shows, of what we do that makes us different, right? She sees things differently from me in a number of areas. She's very smart. This is the only time I'll say that. I'm kidding. She's very smart. and I'm smart, but in different ways, right? We just have that kind of thing for us. And so because of that, we have different stories to tell. She did not start a podcast. I started a podcast. And that took me down a road that she is not on. And so I can share the story of those experiences. She cannot. But she learned from them. She's been affected by it. Just as I am affected by her stories and experiences as a director of diversity and inclusion at the Cornell School of Business. I hope I said that right. She's going to kill me if not. Yeah, no, I think I said that right. So our stories are our own, but the people around us who hear those stories, who are affected by those stories, that is important, because her hearing my story about podcasting and the impact it has, she has shared that with the people in her circle, and she goes to schools. She talks to students. So who I affect with my story is now expanded, not just to my circle, but to the circle she is in and the people that she talks to. And if it affects one person in that circle, if I get one new listener because she has told someone about my podcast, I'm affecting their circle and whoever it is, right? So that is kind of how each story, while unique and different, is important, because you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching or seeing or understanding what's happening. I got a message for the 150th episode from one of the nicest persons, and she's going to be on the show later, telling me how the show has actually influenced her to start her own podcast. And we'll talk more about that when she comes on. But I was blown away, because honestly, I thought only 5 people listened to this podcast, and that was my family. Even though I see the numbers and we're over 80K of downloads and stuff like that, I still thought all 80K was like the 5 people or my Indian community here in Baltimore or something like that, my family from Baltimore. But it's not true. You just don't know. You can't look at the numbers. You can't think about all of that. You don't know who's listening, who's affected. I got a message the other day from someone who was blown away by what I am doing in sharing these stories. They were surprised. And I'm like, for me, it's like, why? It's just me. I'm just talking. And he was very inspired by what I'm doing and is going to try and do that himself. And so that's the kind of thing that's interesting. You don't know how things are going to play out. You don't know how things are going to work. You may think you're just sharing a story, but to someone else, they're seeing their own self reflected in that story, or their own desires or their own dreams. And that is why it's so important for each of us to share our story or to live our own story and not worry about it. Okay. So I want to make sure you guys understand that. That's so important. Okay. So you are here on this earth for a purpose, whatever it is. That's the point of life, is to figure out what is your purpose, and you do that by practicing, by trying, by doing things. The role of parents is to help you figure that out, not to dictate it. Okay. Let me be clear. And parents, if you're listening to this and you're like, no, my child's going to be a chef. My child's going to be a doctor or an engineer. Listen, that may not be their thing. Okay. Your role, and TD Jake said this, and I'll try and link it in the show notes. Your job is to help grow the seeds, help to nurture it as we figure out what it is we are trying to do in this life. What is it we are here for? What is our purpose, our passion? What is it that we are meant for? And that is what you're to help us do by giving us the experiences, taking us to tennis, taking us to cooking classes, getting us a computer and teaching us what to do and expose us to different experiences, because it's through that we figure out what we're good at, what we're not good at, where are our strengths, what are our weaknesses. That is what helps us become us. And that's, by being us, we begin to live our true self. And that is what's important. It's called your life, not their life. And if I've offended anyone by that, my apologies, but it's true. Okay. It's just one of those things where you have to live your true life, whatever it is. It may not be easy to hear. It may not be easy to say, but at the end of the day, they are the ones that have to live with it. That was directed to parents, your kids, people, you have to live with your own life. So why not live it to the truest extent that you can? Whatever that means, you have to decide what that means. And whether you share it with the world or not is up to you. But I hope that you would shine a light on who you are and not hide yourself in the dark, because the world is a better place because you are in it. And the world is a better place because of what you do. There's no mistake about why you're here. You're here for a reason. Your presence here, regardless of what it is, for whatever reason or how, it's important. It's important. There are so many people doing the same job. Lawyers, doctors, nurses, right? But they're important individually. Okay. It's important that there are doctors. I mean, if there was 2 doctors, you wouldn't say, hey, you can't be a doctor. I'm already a doctor. No, you be a doctor, man, because one person may be in Maryland, another person may be in California. And each one plays an important role with the people they are around in their home, in their circumference. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys is, you are important. Your story is important. You are unique, individual, and it is important that you live your truest life. And that means living your life and not someone else's life dictated because they believe that this is what you should be. Once you start letting people decide what you should be or who you are, you're giving them a little bit of control over your life. And, that can be good. That can be bad. You got to decide, but say it again. It's your life, not theirs. Okay. So don't stress out. It's just the way it is. It's a ripple effect. You guys ever see the butterfly effect or heard about it? Where essentially we'll do the ripple effect. You throw a pebble in the water and ripples are created and they move outwards, right? The butterfly effect is if a butterfly flaps his wing in the US, it can cause a tsunami in Japan. I may have gotten that messed up, but the idea is even the smallest thing in one place can affect something else somewhere else. Okay. And so that is what we as individuals do. That is just how the world works. That's what life is. Okay. So to summarize, the important things that you need to understand. 1, you are important. 2, you are unique. 3, it is your life, not their life. 4, it is important to live your true life. Regardless of what that means, live in your truth. And 5, chase your dreams and be happy. Okay? So I wanted to share that with you for anybody who needs to hear it, for anybody who needs to understand you are important. You're not just a robot in the wheel of life. You're not just kind of here. You are important. You are recognized and you are affecting this world, which is why, guys, it's important to, play a part in it and not just kind of ignore the things that are happening around you in the world, whether it's political or in your family or in your church. Take a stance, take control, live your life, chase your dreams. All right. Okay, guys, you can find show notes for this episode over on the show notes page at aimej21.com/episode 153. That's episode 153. So again, no guest interviews for the next few weeks, but you will be hearing from me. We're going to talk about things like this. I don't normally do solo episodes. I'm not a big fan of it, but hopefully you got some joy from this. If it was helpful, shoot me a note on social media. Let me know. Feedback is important and it helps me improve. And, if this is something that people are enjoying, I'll try to do more of them, maybe once a month or something like that. But I won't know unless you tell me, right? So feedback. Also, if somebody ever affects you, give them feedback. It's always positive, negative. It's always welcome. Let me know if this was helpful to you. And until next time, keep chasing.
Thank you so much for listening to Chasing Dreams. Aimee would love to connect with you and hear all about your pursuit of chasing your dreams. Connect with her on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram via @ChasingDreamsHQ. Or you can find Aimee on Twitter @AimeeJ21. That's AIMEEJ21. Be sure to visit headquarters over at ChasingDreamsHQ.com for more inspiration, motivation, and resources to help with your own dream chase. We hope you'll join Aimee next week, and until then, keep chasing.